Here's what people get wrong about being a motivated person. My little cousin, who I coach, recently checked in with me last Friday, and in his form, he basically said, in his form, he basically asked me, Derek, he basically asked, how do I be a more motivated person? So he's having a hard time with his studies, with his work, and yeah, just some stress in life basically that made him feel unmotivated or demotivated from going to the gym and following a plan. And he just felt a little bit stuck, like he was in a bit of a slump basically. And he was someone that's been progressing really, really well up to now. All right, so he's been crushing it. It's just the last 2 weeks, life packed on, and he started to feel a lot more stressed than where he normally was. And so yeah, he's like, Derek, what's your advice here? How do I be a more motivated person? Like he was still very much passionate about the gym and he still wanted to show up, but he just couldn't seem to get himself there. He just kept finding reasons not to do it. And I think this is probably one of the most common conversations that I have with the guys that I coach. It's like, how do I be more motivated? How do I show up? Like I have a hard time doing this, doing that. And my answer is the same every single time. And this is exactly what I told Thomas and what I'm going to share with you today. I think the big mistake that you're making when it comes to motivation is that you're thinking that it's this feeling that you're going to experience that's going to push you to do the thing that you need to do. Right? We'll talk about it from the gym, like feeling pumped to go to the gym, needing to feel good to go train, right? Putting on some motivational music that amps you up and then hitting the gym and crushing it. Like that's all a feeling that's created or a feeling that you're expecting. And I think if you're waiting for that feeling to always come around, that's why you have a hard time staying on track or staying consistently for a long enough time period, because we all know feelings are very unpredictable, right? You have a tough day at work and all of a sudden you feel unmotivated because that sense of excitement isn't there. Or you get into a fight with your partner and you're tired from it and all of a sudden you feel unmotivated to go to the gym, or you feel unmotivated to stick to the plan with your food. And so what ends up happening is because you feel unmotivated, you decide that, okay, now's not the right time for me to follow through. I'm just going to go do my thing. And then all of a sudden it snowballs into a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks of not following the plan and not progressing any further. That's the very vicious cycle that you, Thomas, and a lot of the guys that I work with fall into on a regular basis. Now, I want to give you a different perspective in terms of how to view motivation or how to become a more motivated person so that this doesn't continue being an issue for you. Stop seeing motivation as a feeling. Start seeing it as a decision or an action that you're going to uphold every single day, or even a value they're going to uphold to be a motivated person to, I guess, guide your decision-making process and your habits. So what do I mean by that? Rather than wanting to feel good whenever you do something and as a result you think you're motivated to go do it, ask yourself, what would the motivated version of me do right now knowing I don't feel like doing it? Or another way is ask yourself, what would the motivated people that you know of in your life do in this situation? And I'm very confident to say the answer is most likely going to be do the thing that you are trying to avoid, right? The very act of doing something that you don't want to do in that moment, or hitting the gym when you don't want to, eating the food when you don't want to, is the very thing that a motivated person would be doing. And so if you want to be a more motivated person, it's no longer about waiting for that feeling to go do it. It's about making the conscious decision and that conscious effort to follow through with it despite feeling shit, despite feeling tired, despite not wanting to do it. That's literally what a motivated person does, right? Because if you think about someone like David Goggins, if you guys know who he is, like probably the epitome of motivation, right? If you see his videos online, if you just Google him right now, you'll see what I mean. This guy does some crazy shit, right? Crazy shit like these long as fuck runs randomly in the cold and the heat. I think he like some world pull-up challenge, some shit like that. I can't remember what he did, but he is definitely a motivated person. And one of the interviews, someone asks him, how do you do it? Like, how do you stay so motivated? Or was that the question that he asked? Have you seen that?
What?
Was it the person that asked him, like, how do you stay motivated? Do you know what I'm talking about? And I remember watching a video of him where I think it was like the interviewer or just someone in the crowd asked him, like, how do you do it? How do you do all this crazy shit? And how do you stay motivated? And he's like, his response was basically, he doesn't want to do any of this shit. Like, he literally doesn't want to wake up at 4 a.m. and go for his run. He doesn't want to go running, he doesn't want to go running basically a marathon in the heat with I think he had like broken feet or some shit like that. Now I know that's a very extreme example, but he is the epitome of a motivated person, and he doesn't want to do any of that. But the reason why people see him as motivated is because he does it regardless. So when I started to realize this, it changed everything in terms of how I coach, in terms of how I instill being a motivated person for myself. Is like when my cousin brought this up with me, I understood how he felt. Same way I understand how a lot of people that I coach, a lot of just people I talk to on a daily basis feel when they say, I just need to be more motivated, or I just need more motivation. It's really easy to think that that is the solution, because again, it's something that's not concrete. It's like, what do you need to do to be a more motivated person? Or when will you get that feeling again? It's not predictable enough. And so, like, although I understand it, now how I coach someone through it is I basically ask them, like, what should you do when you feel like this? What are the values that you need to hold up, or what are the behaviors that you need to continue with, even though you know you don't feel good doing it? So even when work is really stressful, how do you make sure you continue to being a motivated person? All right? Even when you are really tired after a long day, how do you make sure that you continue being a motivated person and show up to the gym? And again, it is literally doing the thing in that moment that you don't want to do. No matter how small or how big it is, if you just do that consistently enough, you're now building this identity that you are someone who is a motivated person. And so you don't need more motivation. I think it's a really easy trap that I think it's a really easy trap to fall into, to think that the problem is just a lack of motivation. The problem is a lack of action. Because what really gets people going and what really gets people to stay committed to a plan long enough is, one, getting great results, right? Or really seeing momentum being built and progress being built. Two, is actually feeling like they are, making steps in a positive direction. Those are two things: great results and momentum, right? So even if someone takes the first step forward, that feeling alone of like stepping foot in the gym for the first time, that's going to motivate you for the second time, right? Or that's going to get you going for the second session, the third session, the fourth session. Now stack that on top of getting results. Now all of a sudden, you don't feel like it's such a chore to show up. Now where I'm going with this is, in order for you to build momentum, in order for you to see any sort of progress, what do you need to do to be able to start that? You need to start taking action, right? You need to start doing the thing that you don't want to do, especially when you don't want to do it. So you get into this nice little routine where, okay, you feel like shit today, cool, I'm still going to go to the gym. And then you go to the gym, you feel great doing it, and that gets you going for the next session because you've already ticked off that session, which you didn't want to do. Right? And more importantly, every single day you show up for yourself, every single time that you follow the plan, you're stacking these little wins bit by bit, and that gets the results going. Now all of a sudden, the results are motivating you, right? It's getting you going. It's starting to make you feel like, okay, I can really do this. I'm going to keep doing this. And it snowballs into a bigger and bigger and bigger thing. All right? But if you're always waiting around for just to feel good when you do something, you're creating a condition that's too unpredictable. Right? And when we create conditions around actually succeeding with our goals or actually achieving the goal that you want. So I know I've used the word motivation like 100 fucking times in this video, but my last takeaway from here, the one thing I want you to take away from this video is you need to stop creating so many conditions around you being able to stick to a plan. Right? That's the biggest takeaway from this. Same thing I told Thomas, my cousin. It's like, we get it. Life is busy. Stuff happens. But if you're creating a condition that you only show up when you feel motivated or you feel good, you're always going to be susceptible to the stresses in your life that are never going to go away anyway. So if you're someone who really just wants to succeed with your goals and you're tired of falling into that loop of like stopping and starting all the time because of how you feel or what happens in your life, learn to detach from that idea. Remove the condition that you have to feel good whenever you show up. Instead, focus on the tasks that need to be done. And then those times where you don't feel good doing it, make sure you lock in even harder then. And remind yourself, like, these moments here are what's going to allow me to achieve my results. Because anyone can show up when they feel good. The ones who achieve the things that you want are the ones who are able to show up even on the days they don't feel good. So I hope you found this video helpful. And there will definitely be more videos coming your way. So I'll see you in the next one.